This is Sergeant Sarah Ashton Cirillo of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Next week, the teeth of the Russian devils will gnash ever harder, and their rabid mouths will foam in uncontrollable frenzy. While I do not get paid any money by the United States government, our leadership in Ukraine truly is among the best in the world, as the world will see a favorite Kremlin propaganda.
Our leadership in Ukraine is the best in the world. I like confidence. I appreciate that. As an American citizen, transgender, Sonny a Brave, sergeant in the Ukrainian army, right? And Senator Vance had some questions. This is an interesting timeline. Welcome back to Jamesons Travels.
Propagandists pay for their crimes. And this puppet of Putin is only the first.
Right.
Russia's war criminal propagandists will all be hunted down, and justice will be served as we in Ukraine are led on this mission by faith in God, liberty, and complete liberation.
I'm not sure what war criminal propagandists are. Like journalists like RT, the news outlet, is it somebody who just doesn't want to give any more money to this effort? We don't want to give any of our blood or treasure. No more, no mas. Is that what it is? I found this person to be interesting. Take aside the war, but it's a transgender reporter who now is in the Ukrainian army who pushes this. Like, we need to give more. We should do more for this effort for Ukraine, and take a look. That's all I have to say.
I'd like to thank the X social media platform for carrying this exclusive message from Kyiv.
Right.
There has been much discussion recently related to my role within the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Before answering some of the questions...
All right, so let me catch you up. Senator Vance in Ohio said this person paid by the Biden administration to promote the war effort, to get America behind pumping more and more money into this situation. Trying to be delicate here. The person's shocked. Everybody's like, what are you, nuts, Vance? Are you crazy? It's a question, right? I mean, this person's a transgender American who's in the Ukrainian army demanding more. Demanding you send your son off. You go fight, right?
Forward by Senator Vance of Ohio, I'd like to thank all those in the U.S. who are supporting the Ukrainian people. Without Republicans and Democrats working together on behalf of Ukraine, our growing and unstoppable success on the battlefield and the inevitable victory it will bring over the Russian invaders would take significantly longer.
Now, I know there's channels that cover this extensively. They cover all sides of it, all pro-Ukraine. I understand. I don't know. Do you see this inevitable win on the battlefield? I'm being delicate here. I'm not an educated man on this, but what I'm seeing is it doesn't seem that's the case here unless we get involved. NATO is involved in this matter beyond just giving them F-16s and lots of artillery and, of course, lots of money. I mean, you have to do it. Otherwise, you're a communist.
The delivery of ATACMS will further expedite our victory while saving lives and tax dollars in the process.
I'm not sure how this is saving tax dollars. It's very confusing. Now, everybody in government, I think, is pro this, almost. I mean, you got some outliers that say we shouldn't do it. But when you listen to all the people in Congress, Senate, of course, Biden, it's pro. And maybe that's the approach we should take, right? I don't know this is winnable. I can be wrong, of course, but I don't see where this ends up beyond us pumping more money in. And if you've seen the results... I mean, I'm not sure how many of you have looked at some of the reporting from both sides of this situation, from what you can see from the other side, right? And as far as the battlefield results are concerned.
Is once more showing why it's history's greatest republic and the world's lone superpower. And all of us in Ukraine are humbled by the support we're receiving from the American people. Let me also take a moment in my role as...
I thought Zelensky said we weren't giving enough. He just came in front of the UN and said we're not meeting our obligation to climate change. That was Zelensky the other day. Said the U.S. is not meeting its goals on climate change. I'm like, well, this guy's flying all over the world. I'm confused here. We got a war? Or, climate change? Or what's going on here?
Spokesperson for the AFU's Territorial Defense Forces to state unequivocally that we in the TDF and across Ukraine believe journalists are heroes and have the right to report on Ukraine's war for liberation without interference.
Well, you've heard there's been some reporting constraints about this. In the beginning, Sergeant whatever, Sarah, said that anybody who's a Russian propagandist will be hunted down. So I guess it could be a journalist that, say it's a Russian journalist, reports pro-Russia. That's what they do. Are they a propagandist? They'd be hunted down. Does the First Amendment, as described here, freedom of speech, apply? And it doesn't apply in this country in question, but this is amazing.
Free speech is the pillar of all democracy. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, along with the rest of that sacred document, is ordained by God.
Right, of course.
The Russian propagandists and war criminals who are spreading lies and pushing false narratives are not journalists. They are...
Oh, so if they're on the other side of this, they're not journalists. You may dislike them. Let's just say they got a different opinion. They report on a different angle. They get clicks. Everybody's trying to get clicks, right? Eyeballs. So they're propagandists and war criminals if they just report differently. I mean, this whole thing has got, we'll call it propaganda from different angles, right? Pump more money and we demand more money. I don't know how you feel about it. Do you want to give up more of your tax dollars for this? You may feel like this is the best thing. I've heard from many people, if we don't intervene, we'll have troops there. I've heard that. I've heard that from our military. Our stunning and brave brass, General Miley types.
Information agents and an extension of the Putin-Prigozhin effort to spread chaos and wreak havoc across the globe. In Ukraine, we do not seek vengeance, only justice.
Right.
Because of this, these enemies of freedom and democracy will have to answer for their crimes in a court of law.
Right.
Senator Vance recently asked the U.S. Director of National Intelligence, along with the Secretaries of State and Defense, if I was working in some capacity for the American government. Simply put, I'm an American serving as a Ukrainian infantry soldier and combat medic who was brought from the zero.
This person was a journalist before, what I can see, and a Nevada. Now it's a medic and a sergeant in the Ukrainian army. This is perfect.
Line and assigned to the TDF's media team in the dual role of spokesperson and Russian disinformation analyst.
Right.
The remaining speculation surrounding me is disappointing. While in Ukraine, we are fighting for global liberty and the ideology of victory.
Well, Sergeant Sarah here came out and said, I'm going to get all my money from donations from Twitter, right? Think about how that goes. So we don't pay the person directly, the U.S. government. Somebody, a big donor, funds another foundation. What's fun? You know how this goes. Layers of ways a person's getting paid. I don't know if they are. I think J.D. Vance asking the question, is the person getting paid? It'd be like a Fauci, right? No, we're not paying for it, but we pay this person who pays that person who pays this person. With the cough thing. So I don't know. It's a intriguing timeline here. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section, please.
Too many in Moscow and across the world are still caught up in focusing on the tired trope of gender chaos.
Right.
Ukraine is a nation that embraces individual liberty and maintains a devotion to God.
Right.
The freedom that Ukraine is fighting for is not based on carving out privilege for some, but creating a...
Is that true? I don't think it is. I just don't think it is. I think they just passed a law, since we gave them billions of dollars, to allow for same-sex marriage. I could be wrong. Maybe it's the bastion of a utopia, right? Ukraine's a utopia, and we should send your brother. You should go fight. Give up your life. We tried that for 20 years in the desert with no real end game. Soldiers, troops are commendable, but the brass leadership, I don't know.
Pathway of prosperity and success, founded in hard work and the rule of law for all.
All right, you get it. This person's got a lot on Twitter. They're all over the place. So when you see it, this image here, well, it fits, Dr. Admiral Levine, right? I mean, this is, I guess, the new normal, but it's an interesting. What do you think? Is this person a puppet of the West somehow? Are they just noble, trying to help Ukraine win the war? It's tricky. I got lots of words for this, but unfortunately I can't say them here. As you know, I've been demonetized. You made this far. Do most of my videos on locals. I'm trying to keep this channel. My channel's going, but it costs me money to do it. Not complaining. Yeah, I am complaining, but just a reality. So, get with me on Twitter. Check out locals. You want to support the cause, support the effort. You like the videos here or Odin's Man or wherever else they do them. Go to locals. Throw some dollars at it. Because you're not going to hear anything beyond censored, sanitized, what's allowed. And that's what you'll get, what you deserve, what's allowed. Thanks for being here.